Boom. Okay. So, wow, I just realized my volume was not up. So if y'all were talking, I am so sorry. But I can hear y'all now. So, what even are annuities? Annuities are contracts between an individual and an insurance company, and they're designed to provide a stream of income, usually for retirement. Okay, the individual either makes a lump sum contribution or a series of payments over time, right? And in return, the insurance company agrees to pay the money back either immediately or at a future date, typically in their retirement. Okay, so it's just a contract that says that the client is going to give the insurance company money up front, right? Either in a lump sum or over a period of time. And in return, the insurance company agrees that, hey, we're going to start paying you money back either immediately or at a future date. Okay, the main purpose of an annuity is to provide a steady stream of income, typically during their retirement, while allowing that person's money to grow tax deferred. Okay, what does tax deferred mean? It means that the money's going to be growing, not being taxed at the time that it's growing, right? It'll be taxed later on when that person starts to withdraw that money. Okay, now annuities are designed to provide income while a person is living, whereas life insurance is designed to provide financial protection to beneficiaries after the insured dies. Okay, so annuities are life insurance product. However, it has a different purpose than life insurance itself, right? Life insurance is more of a benefit for the beneficiary when the insured passes away. Annuities are more for the living, right? To help them make sure that they don't outlive their money, right? To make sure that their money outlives them. Okay. So how do annuities work? Okay, there are several phases in annuity. There's the accumulation phase in which the person is putting money into the annuity. Okay, you're paying premiums into the annuity, allowing your investment to grow tax deferred until those withdrawals begin. This again provides a secure way to save for your retirement. During the accumulation phase, you put money into the annuity. That could either be, again, the lump sum or the series of payments, right? It doesn't all have to, they're all different. Now, during this time, you are going to be accumulating interest. That's how that works, right? It's the accumulation phase. During the annuitization phase, you are going to start annuitizing this product, right? You're going to start receiving payments in return. So, annuitizing it converts your accumulated savings into a stream of income, allowing you to receive regular payments over a specified period of time or for the rest of your life, even. Okay, so again, during the annuitization phase, this is the second half of an annuity. This is where the client starts receiving the money. It can happen either immediately or it can happen later on in life, depending on what annuity they chose. Okay, but they'll start receiving the money either for a specified period of time or for the rest of their life. Okay, and the parties to an annuity, there's going to be the owner. This person is the one that purchases and controls the annuity. The annuitant is the one who is going to be named and receiving the benefits, right? They're the one that the life expectancy is going to be used for to determine the payout. The beneficiary, again, is the person who receives the remaining benefit if the annuitant passes away. And the insurance company is the insurance company, right? They're the ones who issue the annuity contract. Cool. Going on to the types of annuities by payment. Okay, so annuities can be funded two different ways. Okay, you can either have a single premium annuity, which is funded with a lump sum. Okay, it's a single premium. You make one payment into them. These are often used with rollovers or inheritances, right? So a rollover, like money that comes from a retirement account that somebody had at their previous job, right? Maybe they inherited a life insurance settlement, right? And they're looking to put it somewhere. Single premium annuities are awesome because you make one payment in there and you can guarantee that for the rest of your life you're going to get paid, right? There's also flexible premium annuities, which can be funded through multiple payments over time. So, what this does is it allows ongoing contributions so you can keep contributing to this annuity over time as long as it's within the accumulation phase, right? We sell these as well. We sell these through National Life Group. They're monthly annuities. You pay a little $100, $200 into this annuity. Over time, it adds up. You're getting a little bit of an interest rate. And at the end, you can guarantee that you're going to get paid. Okay, so that's types of annuities by payment. Okay, how you fund them. Annuities can also be known by their start date. Okay, so there is immediate and deferred. So immediate annuities are annuities that begin paying the client out within 12 months of purchase, right? It can be as soon as week one, it can be within the beginning, the first 12 months, right? These are typically funded with a single lump sum because think about it, if you did an annuity that's funded over time, these payments begin immediately, right? It wouldn't make sense to have an immediate annuity that's funded over time, right? Immediate annuities are typically funded with a lump sum. These are ideal for people who need immediate income for their retirement. Maybe you know someone who's in their retirement already, right? They're in their 60s, 70s even, and they're receiving income from their retirement account, but maybe that retirement account is going to run out, right? That's not ideal for them. So, an annuity that is paying them immediately and guaranteeing them payments for the rest of their life would be ideal for these clients. Did you leave already? Okay. There are also deferred annuities. Okay. Deferred annuities allow income payments to begin at a future date. Okay. What this does is that funds continue to grow during the accumulation phase, right? Because not only is the money just sitting there, you're also earning interest on that money. Okay, so these are ideal for individuals still saving for retirement and wanting tax deferred growth. Is this making sense? Is this not making sense? Let me know in the chat if it doesn't make sense and I'll clear it up in a way that it does. Okay, now we know about how to fund annuities. We know about how the client starts getting paid in annuities. Now, how are annuities credited interest, right? So these are types of annuities broken down by crediting method. Okay, so there will be fixed annuities. These pay a guaranteed interest rate. You know exactly what you're signing up for when you sign up. Okay, the insurance company is going to tell you, hey, you're going to receive a 4% interest rate, 2% interest rate, right? They're giving you the interest rate, they choose it. Now, the insurance company is going to be the one that assumes the investment risk. No matter what happens in the market, you will continue to receive your 2%, 4%, whatever interest rate you choose, right? So they take on the investment risk. If the market drops, that does not punish you. You don't lose interest because you're receiving this fixed interest rate, right? What this does is it provides stable and predictable growth. It's ideal for conservative investors who are seeking safety. These are very conservative. They typically credit very low interest, about 2%, 3% maybe. But they're very conservative because they're very low risk, right? With variable annuities, these are a little bit different. These are more risky. Okay. The premiums are invested into a separate account, similar to mutual funds, right? So think of if you're buying stocks, right? If you're buying into the market, this is literally what this annuity will do. It will participate directly in the market. Okay. So returns are going to fluctuate based on the market's performance. It can increase, it can decrease. You can lose money in this annuity. Because of that, because of the fluctuation, the owner assumes the investment risk, right? The owner assumes the investment risk, meaning you, the client. Okay. These are ideal for investors seeking to get higher growth potential and who are comfortable with market risk, right? If you're someone who's okay with losing money, a variable annuity may be for you. All right. And then lastly, we have index annuities, may be also known as equity annuities. But these right here are for the interest is going to be linked to a market index such as the S&P 500. However, it will not have market losses. All right, very similar to how an IUL works. There will be growth, but there will never be losses. Okay, when the market drops, your interest rate will simply flatline. Okay, it includes a guaranteed minimum interest rate. Sometimes that interest rate is 0%, right? 0% is better than negative 5%, right? 0% is better than negative 1%. I'll take 0% all day as long as I know I'm not going to lose anything, right? So that may be the guaranteed interest rate. But these also offer potential for higher returns, right? So you can earn and it'll be earning up to a rate, right, of maybe 8%, maybe 9%, and you'll be capped at that rate. So it won't grow past a certain rate. Um, but you're guaranteeing that it won't lose anything as well. Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask, y'all. So again, these are ideal for individuals wanting market-linked growth, but don't want to lose anything, right? Couple hours. Okay. Okay, annuity payout options. So, how annuities pay out is very important as to like people will um people's purpose for getting insurance or an annuity is going to be very important in determining what payout options they want, right? What is the purpose of you getting this annuity? Are you looking to have income for just yourself, for your spouse? Are you looking for a benefit to leave behind? It's all going to determine what annuity they choose. So there's life only, which says, hey, this is going to pay income for the annuitant's lifetime only. It's not going to pay anything after, right? So if there's a beneficiary, the beneficiary is not going to get anything after this person passes away because they're choosing life only, right? This pays income for the annuitant's lifetime only. Payments will stop at death. This typically provides the highest monthly payment, which is ideal for someone primarily concerned with maximum lifetime income. Okay, so it's unlike life insurance where there's going to be a benefit paid out to the beneficiary. This one may not receive one, right? The only way that life only pays out is, for example, if your client gives the insurance company $500,000 and your client passes away before they receive that 500,000 back, that is the only way in which the beneficiary will receive a benefit. But if your client goes on to live and they receive $1 million in payments when they only paid 500,000, that beneficiary is not going to receive anything, right? Because that annuitant has already exhausted their 500,000 and an additional 500 from the insurance company. Make sense? So that's life only. Okay. Now, life income with period certain. This one's pretty cool. This one pays for life, but guarantees payments for a specified period as well. Okay, so if the annuitant dies early, the beneficiary will receive those remaining payments. Okay, this is ideal for individuals wanting lifetime income with beneficiary protection. Okay, so it'll be a period certain. So it could be 10 years. So it'll be, hey, pay me for life and pay my beneficiaries for an additional 10 years.
Oh,
Who was that? I heard somebody like, oh,
oh, Jennifer. Sorry.
you're good. You're paying attention. I love it. So yeah, that's what life income with period certain does. Okay, and then there's joint and survivor. I don't know why there's a third bullet or a fourth bullet point. It should only be three up there, but it continues payments until both annuitants pass away. This is pretty cool, right? So it ensures that both you and your spouse may be, right? This is commonly used by married couples. It's ideal for couples wanting ongoing income for a surviving spouse. Imagine the husband was the breadwinner his entire life, right? And his wife was a stay-at-home mom. And now they're in their retirement age. And he's like, "Hey, I want to make sure that my wife, I've been taking care of her my whole life. I want to take care of her even, beyond the grave, right?" And he passes away and he's guaranteeing that his wife will be taken care of even in his passing. That's amazing to say like, "Dang, like, my dad took care of my mom even when he passed away." That's pretty cool to say, right? Imagine helping support two people through their retirement because you guys got licensed. With one product, you go and protect two people through their retirement, through the end of their life. Pretty freaking cool. So that's joint and survivor annuity payout options. We're going to move on to fixed amount. With the fixed amount option, this one will pay a specific dollar amount until the funds are exhausted, right? So if you say, hey, you know what? I don't want income for life. Just pay me out until, all 500,000 is exhausted. No problem. You say, give me $10,000 a month until that 500K is gone. You're going to get paid for about 4 years. Okay, I've done the math. It's like almost 5 years. Now the payment duration depends on the account value, right? Because they're paying you out maybe 10,000 a month. Once that 500K runs out, that's it, you're done. Right? Now, this is ideal for individuals wanting control over the payment amounts. Okay, then there's fixed period or period certain. This pays income for a set number of years. Now, if the annuitant pass away, payments continue to the beneficiary for the remaining period. Ideal for individuals wanting guaranteed income for a specific time frame. So you can say, pay me for 10 years, right? No matter how much money, pay me for 10 years, and they'll give you an amount based on how long you want to get paid for. Okay, how are annuities taxed? Okay, let me say this. Every dollar that you earn must be taxed, whether it's taxed by your job or it's taxed by, whether it's taxed while you're at work or when you're in your retirement, every single dollar that you earn must be taxed. With that being said, the same dollar cannot be taxed twice. Okay, I want you guys to remember that. So every single dollar you earn must be taxed, but it will only be taxed once, right? The same dollar will not be taxed twice, at least not by the same entity, right? With that being said, annuities will be taxed depending on how that money was originally earned, right? Because think about it, annuities can be funded with money from a previous job, or annuities can be funded from money that was sitting in your bank account, right? Whether that money has already been taxed or not will be determining whether that money will be taxed in your retirement, right? Makes sense. Why? Because money must be taxed, all money must be taxed, but the same dollar cannot be taxed twice, right? So, with that being said, annuities, they grow on a tax deferred basis, right? So, let's take an example like your 401k. All right. If you choose to say, you know what, Brenda, I had an old job at Costco, right? I don't know if Costco has 401ks. Let's pretend they do for today. And my job at Costco, I had a 401k there. I no longer work there. I'm 50 years old and I don't really need my retirement right now, right? Let my retirement sit in an annuity for the next 10 years, right? Now, if your 401k from Costco gets moved into an annuity, all right, that money has not yet been taxed. Okay, money that gets put into a 401k gets put in there before you're taxed on it. All right. So annuities grow the same way, right? Annuities grow on a tax deferred basis, meaning that money in an annuity will not be taxed until you actually start receiving it as income. Okay, remember that. Now, taxes are not paid on earnings until the money is withdrawn. Right. So once you start liquidating your annuity, once you start annuitizing your annuity, once you start receiving payments as income, that's when you will start paying taxes. Brenda, how does that work? I get asked that all the time. Every year, you're going to receive your income payments, right? And at the end of the year or in January, you're going to receive that tax form that says, hey, Jennifer, this is how much you got paid from your annuity. Remember to report this to the IRS, right? And then you go tell the IRS, hey, I made $100,000 for my annuity this year. They're going to say, great, you owe us $16,000 in taxes, right? Or whatever it may be. Okay. But it works exactly the same as a job, right? Now, any withdrawals that you make from your annuity is going to be taxed as ordinary income, right? It's designed for income. So it comes from income, it's going to be considered income. You're going to get an income tax. Okay, earnings are going to be taxed first under the last in, first out rule. Money that gets added to your annuity last, meaning the interest that you're earning, is going to be the first one that's paid out to you. Okay. Now, again, if the money is purchased with, or if, I'm sorry, if the annuity is purchased with after tax dollars, meaning this money came from your bank account, right? Maybe it came from a Roth IRA, money that came from your paycheck that was not put in your 401k, right? This is money that was given to you already. So if you purchase an annuity with money that was already in your possession, okay, the principal is not going to be taxed again, only the interest. Does that make sense? I want to make sure that's clear. So you will not be taxed on the principal. You're only going to be taxed on the money that you earned within the annuity. Okay. Now, early withdrawals, they're going to be penalized at 10%. Okay, if you're under the age of 59 and a half, you will be taxed at a 10% rate. You're technically not supposed to access this money until you're retired. If you're trying to access it before that, you're going to be penalized. Okay. Annuity payments are partially taxable and partially return of principal through the exclusion ratio. So there's something called an exclusion ratio. And when you start receiving money from your annuity, part of that fund is going to be taxable because it's the interest that you earned. And part of that is going to be return of your principal, return of your $500,000 that you gave them. right? So the exclusion ratio is going to determine how much of that money is money that you put in and how much of that money was interest that was earned within the annuity. Okay, that exclusion ratio is going to determine what part of that money you're paying taxes on. You may be paying taxes on the full thing. You may be only paying taxes on the interest that was earned. Okay, I know we're going quick. I'm going to upload this recording to YouTube. Okay, so qualified annuities are funded with pre-tax dollars, right? So money that has not yet been taxed, money that was in a 401k, money that was in a TSP. Okay, so all the money is going to be taxable. It has not yet been taxed. Non-qualified annuities are funded with after-tax dollars. Things like bank accounts, right? Maybe money you had saved at home, right? So only the earnings are taxable here. Okay, different charges that apply to the annuity. Yes, there are fees within an annuity. There are charges within annuities. Okay, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. There are definitely penalties and charges. Okay, there's something called a surrender charge. A surrender charge is a penalty that's imposed by the insurance company when money is withdrawn from an annuity too soon. Okay, when you enter into an annuity contract, you agree with the insurance company to say, hey, F and G, I have $500,000 that I'm willing to let you guys have for a period of time, right? It can be a 10-year period, it can be a 7-year period, it can be a 14-year period, it can be longer. Okay. Now, the longer you let this insurance company hold your money, the longer that money is locked up for. Okay. Think of it like this. You're giving the insurance company a loan. Okay. And while you have a loan, or while they have a loan from you, you can't come and ask them for that money back. Okay, you let them borrow it. You could say, hey, borrow my money for 10 years. All right. And then they're like, great, we're going to go invest this money and flip it. Think of it as that friend who's flipping your money, but they're really going to flip it for you. All right. You say, hey, you got 10 years, flip my money. What can you do? All right. And they say, bet for the next 10 years, we're going to invest this money. Don't worry. We got your back, Lena. We're going to grow this money so much that we're going to pay you back everything plus interest. That's what the insurance company is saying. Right. And you say, great. So there they go. They take your money, and for the first 3, 4 years, it's going great. But then you're like, dang, I kind of need some of my money back. I know I said 10 years, but hey, Fidelity, I actually need my money back early. They're going to say, whoa, Lena, you said we could have it for 10 years. What do you mean you need it back in the fourth year? Yeah, I need to pay some stuff off, or hey, we're buying a house and I really need this money. They're going to be like, dang, okay, well, we'll let you have some back, but we're going to charge you a penalty because, we were planning to invest it for 10 years. I can't give you everything back, right? We're growing your money right now. I don't have it all, right? They do have it, but they're going to tell you, like, no, we're going to charge you a fee, right? So again, this fee right here, number one, it's designed to encourage long-term investing, but it's also helping the insurance company recover the costs associated with issuing the contract, right? They're turning around, they're spending money on issuing the contract to you. They're investing this money. They're buying stocks, bonds, options, commercial real estate. They're buying all kinds of stuff to grow your money, but you're asking for it back early, so they're going to charge you a surrender charge. Okay, it's designed to compensate the company for the loss of the investment value that they would have gotten had you not canceled your policy. Right. Now, those surrender charges, they apply during the surrender period. Okay, it's commonly lasting between 5 to 10 years. It can go up to 14 years. It depends on how long you let them borrow your money for. Okay, now here's the good news. That charge will decrease every year over time until it reaches 0%, and then you have full access to your money. All right, so there's an example. If you get a 7-year annuity, in year one, your surrender charge is going to be 7%, right? So if you give them $100,000, they're going to keep 7,000. All right, in year two, if you give them $100,000, year two, your surrender charge will be 6%. They're keeping $6,000. In year three, they're keeping 5,000, and it continues to decrease every single year until it's 0%. Does that make sense? So a surrender charge is just saying, hey, you're going to get charged this fee if you don't let us hold on to your money for as long as you agree to. All right, we're going to charge you this penalty, and that penalty is just meant to compensate the company for the loss of the investment that they would have earned if you hadn't canceled your policy early. Cool. Free withdrawal provision. So a company, they're not all bad, okay? They're trying to help you, but they do have something called a free withdrawal. This allows the annuity owner to withdraw a limited portion of the annuity every year without paying a surrender charge. Okay, the free withdrawal amount is commonly up to 10% of the annuity's value every year. All right, so in your first year, you have access to 10%. All right, second year, 20, third year, 30. Some annuities will allow you to withdraw only up to 30% at a time, right? So if you're in your fourth year, you can't say, well, I'm here to withdraw 40%. No, some of them will only let you do 30%. Some of them will let you do 50%. It depends on how many years you have. It depends on the company, honestly. The withdrawals above the allowed amount may be subject to surrender charges. So if you are in your third year, right, you have access to 30%, but you want to withdraw 50%, right? You have free access to 30. The other 20%, you may be subject to surrender charges. Okay. Now, this provision provides limited access to funds while still encouraging long-term investing. What I say, even if the withdrawal is free from surrender charges, yes, very important. Guys, don't be this person. This was my mother. She was very unhappy with me, but I try to tell her, she just don't listen. It's funny how the tables have turned. But even if your policy is within the free surrender, like the free withdrawal period, that does not exclude you from still paying taxes and having to pay an early withdrawal penalty, right? This happened to my mom. She rolled over her annuity in 2019. That was what, 7 years ago, right? She withdrew her, yeah, she rolled over her annuity. She was 57 years old at the time. 58 years old, because she's not 60 yet. She was 58 years old at the time. And what happened was that she said, well, I have 50% free withdrawal in my annuity. This was 2 years ago. I have 50% free withdrawal. I'm going to take the money out. I said, okay, I wouldn't recommend that, but if you really want to, right? She's 58 years old. I said, you're going to get an early withdrawal penalty and you got to pay taxes on this money because it came from her old 401k. She's like, no, I think I'm going to withdraw it. I said, okay, if you really want to. So what does she do? She withdraws it. She don't listen to me. She withdrew that money. And what happened? She took out $50,000. She was hit with the early withdrawal penalty because she was not 59 and a half yet. Right. So she was charged 10% because of that. And because she took out $50,000, it was added to her annual income for that year. My mom made probably like 200K last year. So in the eyes of the government, she made $250,000 that year. So they said, hey, you made a good amount of money. We're going to tax you at a higher tax bracket. She was very upset when she got a $20,000 tax bill. But I said, I warned you. I told you this was going to happen. She didn't listen. Hey, that's what happened. So don't be that person, right? If someone has free access with the company, that does not disqualify them from taxes and penalties. The IRS gonna get their money one way or another, right? They're gonna make sure of that. Okay. Um, the death benefit in an annuity. Yes, there may be a death benefit in an annuity, not always, but there might be. The death benefit in an annuity is the money paid to the beneficiary if the annuitant dies before or during the payout phase, depending on the payout phase that they or the payout option that they selected, right? So kind of like I mentioned earlier, if all of the money that the client contributed to the annuity has not been used yet, that money may be paid out to the beneficiary. Right? In a deferred annuity, the beneficiary typically receives the contract value. Hold on a second. Oh, somebody said, I have a question. I'm teaching. In a deferred annuity, the beneficiary typically receives a contract value or the total premiums paid, whichever is greater, right? If the annuity has been annuitized, so the client has started receiving payments, whether a beneficiary receives anything depends on the payout option that was chosen. What if they chose life only, right? At the end of that, if they already started receiving money and they received all the money that they put in there, there's nothing left for the beneficiary. Okay. Oh, yeah. So some payout options, dang, look at that. I didn't even go to the next point and I talked about it already. Some payout options, like life only, will stop payments at death and no remaining death benefit will be paid out. Okay, some other options like period certain or joint and survivor, they will continue payments to a beneficiary after the annuitant's death. I think we're moving on to qualified plans here soon. Okay, annuity charges and features. Again, the guaranteed minimum interest rate. This is a guaranteed minimum interest rate that is the lowest interest rate an insurance company promises to credit to a fixed annuity. So they're going to say, hey, we promise to pay you 4%, right? 3%, whatever it may be. Okay. It protects the annuity owner from earning less than the stated minimum, even if the market interest rate declines. So no matter what happens in the market, the client is guaranteed to receive this rate. This guarantee is a key feature of fixed annuities. The guaranteed rate is stated in the annuity contract. Now, the insurance company assumes the investment risk in a fixed annuity because it guarantees the minimum interest rate no matter what, right? This client is going to receive that minimum rate no matter what the market is doing. The market value adjustment. Market value adjustment is a feature that can increase or decrease the amount received from a deferred annuity during the surrender period. So if I choose to get an annuity that's going to pay me in the future, right, and I choose to cancel it before I start receiving my payments, and it's still within my surrender period, the market value adjustment will change my annuity value based on the current interest rate compared to the rates when my annuity was purchased. So, for example, if interest rates rise, the surrender value may decrease. If interest rates fall, the surrender value may increase, right? MVAs are commonly found in fixed annuities. Now, an MVA only applies when money is withdrawn during the early surrender period. Okay, MVA market value adjustment. Okay, y'all, moving on to qualified plans. Okay, so that was annuities. Now, again, why do you need to know about annuities? We sell annuities, right? Qualified plans, we do not sell qualified plans. However, you will come across someone in the field that has one of these, and you will need to know how it works because imagine you're sitting in front of a client, okay, and this client tells you, yes, I do have a 401k, right? Imagine that they tell you, hey, Grace, I actually have this 403(b). Can you explain to me how that works? Right? Adrian, yeah, I have a TSP, but I'm not too sure how that works and how you can help me with one. Right? You can learn about how that works here. So, qualified plans, we don't sell them, but you need to know about them. Okay, what is a qualified versus non-qualified plan? A qualified plan meets IRS requirements under the IRS, right? Under their code. So, there are rules to qualified plans. All right. There are rules. They must meet ERISA rules. ERISA is the employment, what is it? Employee Retirement Security, no, Employee Retirement Income Security Act. Okay, and they set the rules for all of these types of plans. Now, contributions to a qualified plan are made with pre-tax dollars, meaning that you have not paid taxes on the money that you are contributing to your 401k, right? For the purpose of going through these examples, who was that? For the purpose of going through this whole presentation, I'm going to refer to a 401k when I'm talking about a qualified plan. Okay, so, and you can have a 403(b), a different IRA, a type of pension. I'm going to just keep it with the 401k. All right, so contributions to your qualified plan are made before you receive your paycheck. Right. So when you get your paycheck, if you look on it, it's going to say, you paid for Medicare, Social Security. Oh, but then I paid for my 401k. Dang. Okay, cool. Your contribution was made before you got taxed. Okay. Because of this, your earnings are going to be growing tax deferred. You're not going to be paying taxes on this money while you're earning it, right? You're paying taxes on it later when you start withdrawing it. Because of that, any withdrawals that happen within your 401k before, or no, any withdrawals that happen within your 401k, they're going to be taxable, right? No matter when you make this withdrawal, it's going to be taxable. Always, forever. You're going to pay taxes. Remember, you will always pay taxes on income and you will never be taxed on the same dollar twice, right? Now, these may allow tax deductible contributions. Yes, they do. They do. Anytime that you contribute to your 401k, you're not being taxed on that money. So let's say you earn $100,000 per year, right? And at the end of the year, you get your W-9 or whatever, and they're like, yeah, you contributed 24, let's keep it simple, let's round it up, $25,000 to your 401k. Guess what? You're not responsible for claiming that. You're only responsible for claiming the 75,000 that you did pay taxes on. Make sense? So even
Hmm.
though your salary is $100,000, you didn't pay taxes on that 25,000. You're only paying taxes on the 75. That's all you're responsible for claiming, right? That's what it means to have a tax deduction. Deduct this amount from my taxable income because I didn't pay taxes on this yet, right? So again, these 401k plans or qualified plans, they are subject to IRS rules regarding contributions and distributions. That all ties back to the ERISA rules. Now, some examples of these qualified plans, they're going to be 401ks, 403bs, traditional IRAs, pensions, TSPs. The list goes on and on. Okay, so those are qualified plans. And I know we're going fast. I want to make sure I get everything within the hour. So we got about 20 minutes here. I will be uploading this recording to YouTube for you guys to leverage if you guys need to come back and slow it down. Now, what is a non-qualified plan? We run into those a lot as well. Non-qualified plans do not meet specific IRS qualification requirements. Okay, these are accounts that people start on their own that do not fall under the employment or the Employee Retirement Income Security Act. The IRS doesn't care. Why? This money's already been taxed. That's really all they care about. Let's be real, right? So they're not going to be so concerned about how these are funded, how the money's growing, because the IRS already got their cut. All right. Now, these are funded with after tax dollars, meaning I received my paycheck. I received $1,000 in my paycheck after my taxes were withdrawn, after I paid all these fees and whatnot. I got my $1,000 paycheck. I'm going to take 400 out of my paycheck and put it into my bank account. Your bank account is a non-qualified plan. Okay. The earnings in non-qualified plans, they grow tax deferred as well, right? Okay, so only earnings are taxable upon withdrawal. Only the earnings, not the money you put into it, but the money that grew. Why? Because the same dollar cannot be taxed twice, right? You already paid the money on the money that you put into it. You already paid taxes on the money you put into it. You have not paid taxes on the interest that grew. Okay. Because these are not qualified plans, there are fewer IRS restrictions. Okay, so some examples of this can be your non-qualified annuities, deferred compensation plans, um, CDs, money market accounts, things like that. These are all non-qualified plans. Annuities can be funded from both sources. Okay, annuities can be funded from both sources. It is very important that look, annuities are great. They make you guys a lot of money. All right. Once you get licensed, annuities are a great way to make money. It is very important to leverage an experienced professional when you're writing your first few annuities so you understand the differences. I'm available. Let me know. All right, cool. So, qualified plan basics. Qualified plans are retirement plans that meet IRS requirements and receive special tax advantages. Okay, they're designed to help individuals save for their retirement. The contributions are made with pre-tax dollars. They have not yet been taxed. The earnings are going to grow tax deferred until they are withdrawn, which is when they will be paying taxes. Okay, the employers may contribute to employee plans as well as the employee, right? It depends on the type of plan. Sometimes the employee is not allowed to contribute, sometimes they are. It depends. Now, these are subject to IRS rules regarding eligibility, contributions, vesting, and distribution. Early withdrawals before age 59 and a half, they're going to result in taxes and penalties. And requirement distributions, they have a minimum or a maximum age. So they say, hey, if you want to withdraw money before age 59 and a half, we're going to penalize you. They also say if you want to withdraw money past age 73, if you're age 73 and you still have not withdrawn money, we're going to penalize you, right? So you must start receiving payments between the ages of 69 and a half and 73. Okay, if you do it before, you're going to be penalized. If you wait until after, you're going to be penalized. It's crazy. The government telling you what to do with your money. We're here to help, all right? We're here to help. So some types of qualified plans again are 401ks, 403bs, traditional IRAs, SEP IRAs, simple IRAs, and pension plans. And we're going to learn all about these. Let's dive in. So 401ks, all right, the most commonly known type of retirement plan. This is a qualified retirement plan offered by for-profit employers. Think of Target, Amazon, who did I say? Costco, right? Walmart. All of them have 401ks. And people are so proud to have them. Here's the thing about them, right? They contribute to them through payroll deductions. Contributions are usually pre-tax. Yes, they are. Employers may match the employee contributions. And you know what? They should. They should take this. I always encourage people take your 401k and take that employer match, right? If they're matching you 5%, take your 5%. It's free money. The employee chooses the investment within the plan. So they can say, okay, well, I want to put my money into this stock over here, right? Put it into the S&P 500, right? The employee can choose. Now, they are subject to IRS contribution limits. Can you imagine someone telling you how much you can put into your retirement? They're limiting you. The government will limit how much you can put into your retirement. Think of like your wildest retirement life, what you want that to look like, right? I know what I want mine to look like. I want to live on a farm and I want to have ducks and I want to have chickens. I want a whole farm. Um, I want to have all kinds of animals and I have to have a lot of money to feed them, but the IRS is limiting how much I can put into my 401k. How am I supposed to have a lavish lifestyle with the IRS limiting how much I can put in my account? Isn't that crazy? They're also telling you, hey, you can't withdraw money before age 59 and a half. If you do, we're going to penalize you and you're going to be paying taxes on it, of course, right? Now you can take a loan out depending on the plan that you have, right? You got to pay it back to yourself and you have to withdraw your money by the age of 73, right? Required minimum distributions apply at the required age. If you don't, that money will be taxed at a 6% rate on top of the penalty. Now, this can be to another qualified plan. They're growing and they have pre-tax contributions. Miss Adrian, you have a question?
Yes, my dear. What do I do at 71? So 2 years from seven. No, gee, I made myself a year younger. 72.
Do you have a 401k?
I have not, but
So
I'm
you don't
just
need to worry
asking.
about it. Yeah,
No,
so
no. How can I get one even though I'll be 73 in January? If I
um
wanted to.
I don't know that a 401k would be the best option for you because these are meant to be funded over a long period of time.
Okay,
Um
cool. So
you
tell
would
me
get
what
one of
I
these.
want. When you send me the link or send the link, then send me a text on what is good for me. You don't have to take time or
Yeah,
anything.
definitely talk with Caesar about what's best for you because I don't know your whole situation. You would want to set up what's called like your just an appointment with Caesar and see what the best option for you is.
Okay.
Uh, to do it like a consultation.
Thank you, baby doll. Appreciate it.
No problem. Okay, cool. 403 Bs. So these are for employees of public schools, so teachers, certain nonprofits, ministers. Now, these are also known as tax sheltered annuities. Okay, the contributions to these are generally pre-tax. They're earning money that's going to be, it's going to grow tax deferred. Again, the interest rate's tax deferred. They're similar to the tax treatment is similar to a 401k. Right, very, very similar. Honestly, guys, the biggest difference between all of these plans is who gets to participate in them because these are still subject to IRS contribution limits. Who can contribute to them? This one is it might include employer contributions. They may match you, they may not. Dang, what am I being charged for now? Sorry, y'all. And early withdrawals again before age 59 and a half are going to incur taxes and penalties. The same thing with the required minimum distributions. Now, the important part of this one is that the nonprofit and public education space employees are the ones who can contribute. And this is also known as a tax sheltered annuity. Traditional IRAs, these are individual retirement accounts for people with earned income. Okay, these can be opened independently through a bank, a brokerage, or an insurance company. Hello, hi, my name is Brenda, and I can help you open one of these. Now, contributions may be tax deductible depending on the income and employer plan participation. The earnings grow tax deferred. Okay, subject to IRS contribution limits as well. Some of them, not all of them. Withdrawals, again, they're going to be taxes, ordinary income, 10% penalty before age 59 and a half, unless the exception applies, and RMDs at a required age of 73. RMD is a required minimum distribution. Remember that these are individual plans. They're possibly tax deductible and they have tax deferred growth. All right, we got 10 minutes here. A SEP IRA, a simplified employee pension plan. These are designed for self-employed individuals. They're great for small business owners. Only the employer is going to contribute here. Okay, only the employer is going to contribute, not the employee. Employees cannot contribute directly. The contributions are tax deductible to the employer. Okay, so they get a tax break. Higher contribution limits than traditional IRAs. And then they're easy and inexpensive to administer. The employer contributions must be proportional for eligible employees. Okay, it cannot be like, well, I like this person a little bit better, I'm going to put more into theirs. No, no, no. It has to be equal for everyone who's eligible. Remember, these are employer-only contributions. Self-employed and small business owners use these, and they have higher contribution limits. You can put up to $69,000 into one of these, or up to 25% of your income. You don't need to know those specific numbers for your test. A simple IRA, again, these are designed for businesses with 100 or fewer employees. These are designed the employees make salary reduction contributions. So it's just your salary, instead of being given to you, it's deferred compensation. Your compensation is being deferred. Okay. Your employer is required to contribute by either matching your contribution or making a fixed non-elective contribution. Okay, these are easier to administer than a 401k. Of course, they have tax deferred growth. Now, here's the thing about early withdrawals. You're subject to a 25% penalty if it's within the first 2 years. All right, so if you plan to withdraw early from your simple IRA, wait until year 3, so it's only 10%. Again, these are for small businesses. The employer contribution is required, and 25% early contribution or early withdrawal penalty during the first 2 years. I'm hosting a whole call right now. Give me 1 minute. So the pension plan, again, a defined benefit plan. These are employer funded retirement plans. There's a promise of a specific retirement benefit amount. Okay, this is based on several factors like your salary, the years of service you contribute, your age at your retirement, right? Employer manages investments. The employer assumes the investment risk. Okay, so you guys have heard of pensions before. You know of someone who's like, oh, I have to give 25 years of service, and at age 59, I can get my whole retirement, right? You've heard people say that. That is this plan right here. Okay. When it says the employer manages the investment and the employer assumes the risk, it's because the employee is being guaranteed a payment. They're saying, hey, when you retire, right, Mr. or Mrs. Employee, you're going to receive your paycheck. You're going to continue to receive it for the rest of your life. Kind of crazy, right? No matter what the company does, whether they earn or they don't, they're guaranteeing this employee their income for the rest of their life. All right. So long as they put in a certain number of years of service and they're at a certain age of retirement, right? But the employees receive a guaranteed income at retirement. This is more common amongst government employees, large corporations, and union positions. Okay, they're very, very popular, not as common anymore. Okay, these are guaranteed retirement income. The employer bears the investment risk, and the benefit formula, how much you're going to receive, is based on the salary that you received during your years of service and how long you worked there. All right. We just talked about this. Is that it? Oh, I was like, whoa, we're done, but no, we're not. Okay, defined benefit versus defined contribution. Okay, a defined benefit, they're promising you a specific number when you retire, right? They're telling you you're going to receive X amount of dollars when you retire. Okay, this is based on your salary, your years of service, how old you were when you retired. The employer, I'm sorry, your job is going to contribute and manage the investment. Your job is going to assume the investment risk, meaning that if there is a loss, it goes to your employer, not you. What this does is it provides a guaranteed retirement income. This is commonly referred to as a pension plan. Okay, with a defined contribution, it doesn't promise you anything. Unfortunately, imagine working your entire life not being guaranteed a retirement. That is literally 90% of our workforce. It's scary. Does not promise you a specific retirement benefit amount. Instead, your contributions are defined. How much you're putting aside is defined. But the future benefits, they're not guaranteed, y'all. It's scary. Employees can contribute through payroll deductions. The employee usually chooses the investment option. Now, your retirement benefit, it's going to depend on how much you contributed, how that investment performed, and you assume the risk, unfortunately, right? So it's all on you. That's terrifying. I'm just a 37-year-old teenager. That sounds scary. Okay, so tax treatment of qualified plans. Yes, you thought we were free of taxes? No, of course not. Never. Contributions into a qualified plan, they're typically made with tax dollars. I'm sorry, pre-tax dollars with money that has not yet been taxed. All right. Contributions may be tax deductible, meaning you tell the IRS, hey, I earned $100,000, but really I only paid taxes on 75,000 because that's really what I came into possession of. Right. The other 25K went straight into my 401k. Right. Don't tax me on that. The earnings on your 401k, they're gonna be tax deferred, meaning that while you're earning money, you're not paying taxes, but you're paying taxes when that money comes into your possession. Once you start receiving those payments from your 401k. Taxes are not paid while funds remain in the account. Okay, but withdrawals are going to be taxed as ordinary income. Now, early withdrawals before age 59 and a half, you're going to be paying ordinary income taxes. There is a 10% IRS penalty, and you must start receiving money by the age of 73. Now, loans may be available in certain qualified plans, such as 401ks. Do I talk about exclusions here? Is this my last slide? It is. I made it. Praise God. Okay. Can you speak more about tax deferred? Yes, tax deferred simply means that any money that is tax deferred simply means that you have not received that money into your possession yet. Okay, that's what deferred means. Deferred means later, right? So tax deferred simply means I'm paying the taxes on that money later because I have not yet come into possession of that money myself. It's not fair that you would pay taxes on money that hasn't come into your possession, right? So when does it get taxed? When you come into possession of that fund. Okay. Real quick, I wanted to cover exclusions to penalties in qualified plans. Penalties in qualified plans, there are exceptions to that 10% penalty. Okay, so some exceptions are if you're a first-time home buyer and you take money out of your 401k or out of your qualified plan, you're allowed up to $10,000 without having to pay that 10% penalty. Okay, for your first-time home buyer. If you are having a child or you're adopting a child, you are allowed up to $5,000 access to your money without having to pay that penalty. Okay. If you are deployed um, to war or some kind of military service, you are allowed to access your funds without having to pay that 10% penalty. This one is very considerate of the IRS. If you pass away, they're going to waive that 10% penalty. How kind of them, right? To do that when you pass away, to not penalize you that 10% before you get taxed on that money. What else? If you decide to take a series of substantial payments before you are age of 59 and a half, that 10% penalty will be waived. If you are going through a divorce and through your divorce, you are ordered to give payments to your spouse, you will be waived that penalty of 10%. What else? What else? That's pretty much it. So they waive the 10% penalty in those instances. Okay. Um, Yeah. Any last minute questions? We have 2 minutes left. I got through it pretty quick. I'm pretty proud of myself. This is the time to ask questions, y'all. I know this is one of the harder sections on the exam. Again, I will be uploading this to YouTube so you guys can come back, watch it as many times as you need to, slow it down, pause it, write your notes, flashcard, whatever y'all got to do.
This is kind of like a down the road question, but I
Mhm.
know that you said that everything is gonna get taxed and you have to pay taxes. So when you get to be, I don't know, 80 something, and you're getting all your money, but you're paying taxes on it, are you supposed to just put money aside to pay taxes at the end of the year?
Great
I'm very
question.
confused as to how that works. I know my
Yeah,
parents are
so
old.
no,
They're
that's a good
getting
question.
their pension and everything, but sometimes they owe taxes and sometimes they don't. So how do you get around paying taxes if you're paying your money that you're getting is being taxed, but you're not getting any more after that? So it sounds like they're just recycling the money to
Yeah,
a
it's
point,
crazy.
right?
Isn't it crazy? And that's the thing, Jennifer, is that most people don't know this, which is why you guys are all so important to the marketplace because you guys have this knowledge that you're going to be able to bring to people. So when it comes to being older and being taxed, right? They have options. Okay. So when you start receiving your money, you can choose to say, hey, when you start sending me payments, withhold my taxes, right? So they'll hold on to it for you and send it directly to the IRS. And let's say your annuity or your qualified plan or whatever is with Fidelity, right? Let's just say it's with Fidelity. And F&G Fidelity is going to say, hey, IRS, Jennifer has paid us taxes already, or here has paid her taxes. Here's her taxes that she's given already, right? We gave her whatever amount. She paid $10,000 in taxes. Here you go, right? F&G is going to pay that money to Fidelity directly. You still have to file your taxes at the end of the year and say, hey, F&G, I received, what did I say? $20,000, whatever it was. Jennifer's going to say, I received $50,000 from F&G this year. I paid $10,000 in taxes. You're still going to file your taxes, and F&G is going to determine whether that $10,000 was enough to pay your tax bill or it wasn't enough, right? So you may still owe taxes. You may get a refund. Or that's one option. You can choose to say, you know what, don't tax me on anything. Give me all of my money, right? And so you may be receiving your entire paycheck, your entire income without being taxed yet. And then you're responsible for paying taxes at the end of the year. So the IRS is going to say, hey, we didn't receive any tax money from you all year, Jennifer. We know you made $50,000, but it looks like you owe us 16,000. So how you want to give that to us? Right? So they'll put you on a little payment plan and then you'll be paying your taxes that way. So it's important to know, hey, I have options. I can start being taxed up front, and then, settle with the IRS later, or I can just pay it later on my own.
That makes
Brenda.
sense.
Yes.
No, I apologize, daughter. Have you finished your question?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
well, how would they take 10,000 and it's 16,000? Why don't they
It's
just
just an
take six?
example. It's
I
just
know it
I'm
was,
just
but
throwing
I'm just
numbers
giving.
out there.
But would they accurately deduct from that person in her parents, grandparents' stead?
Yeah. So the way that they
Because
do it is they give you the option to withhold 10%, 20%. You can tell them how much to withhold.
okay, got it. That's
Because
better.
everyone's tax situation is different, right? When you file your taxes, you're going to go and say, hey, I had maybe somebody has dependents, right? Because you can be 80 years old and have dependents,
Yes,
right?
indeed.
So it just depends on how much you want them to withhold. If you tell them withhold 50% of my money for taxes and you receive $50,000, maybe they're going to send 25,000 to the IRS, give you the other 25. When you go to the IRS, they say, well, actually you only needed to pay 10. Cool, they're going to refund you 15,000.
All right, so you're in the
So
bank.
it
Okay, I got
depends.
you.
Just an example.
Okay, thanks.
Hmm.
The lesser of two evils is better to go low than to go high.
Yeah, I would rather, hey, take as much money as you need and I'll, get it back on the refund.
That's it. That's a true statement there.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
absolutely. All right, y'all. If nobody else has questions, we have
Pray for
come
the
to
June 4th.
what was that?
My big day is June 4th. Finally
Oh,
coming.
let's go. We want to hear about it, okay?
You shall.
All right, y'all. I hope you guys have a
Brenda,
great
quick
day.
question.
Yes.
You said this event is going to be recorded as well, and you're going to share it.
Yes.
Are you
Being
going to send us
recorded.
the
I'm
link
gonna
via
I
email?
won't send it individually to people because I work with literally hundreds of people, but you're in my chat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll drop it in the licensing chat once it's finished processing.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Length of
Um,
time, Brenda, longer than a day.
I have a full schedule. I'm late to an appointment
Don't
now.
worry about it. No
So
worries. I'm not pressing you. I'm just asking.
it'll be hopefully today. Hopefully today.
Hopefully, no problem. Appreciate it,
Um,
Brenda.
last question in the chat says, what's pre-tax and after tax? Pre-tax means it has not been taxed yet, right? After tax means that money has already been taxed. So pre-tax is going to be like a 401k. Your 401k has not yet been taxed, right? But money in your paycheck is after tax, right? So money that you put into your 401k has not yet been taxed. Money that is in your paycheck has already been taxed. I hope that helps. All right, y'all. I'm late for my 1 o'clock. I will catch y'all tomorrow at noon. Come back with your questions. We're changing it up. Our noon call tomorrow. Yeah, yes, it's like gross pay and net pay. That's a great way to put that. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow at noon.